Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving straight into the bleeding edge of artificial intelligence. And look, we're not just talking about those basic back and forth chatbots anymore. No, we're talking about building a complete, autonomous, digital company using CrewAI. Just imagine having a workforce where you are the CEO and your employees are these highly specialized AI agents collaborating perfectly to get things done. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. Let's break down exactly how this whole thing works.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for assembling this digital workforce. First, we'll look at how AI frameworks have evolved. Then, giving AI a brain, remembering the user, equipping AI with tools, and finally, hiring an AI manager.
All right, Section 1, AI frameworks evolved. To really grasp what makes CrewAI such a game changer, we first need to take a step back and look at the current landscape of how developers are actually building these complex systems.
Comparing the market right now tells a very interesting story. On one side, you have LangGraph, which has recently adopted a sort of two-tiered approach. They offer these low-level core components for developers who really want to dig deep into the architecture, right alongside high-level pre-built agents. But then you have CrewAI. CrewAI is laser-focused entirely on high-level user-friendly abstractions. Basically, they want to make orchestration as seamless as humanly possible, so you can focus purely on building and managing your digital team, rather than, wrestling with all that underlying boilerplate code.
Section 2, giving AI a brain. Let's move to and see how this builds into something powerful by giving our digital employees basically a giant filing cabinet, the ability to store, categorize, and retrieve vital information, much like a seasoned human worker who remembers context over time. The magic of these recent updates is just incredible. If you were building AI applications even a year or two ago, you intimately know the pain of manual token management and having to build out these complex, clunky summaries. But now, oh, the relief is palpable. It is literally just setting a single parameter to true. That's it. The framework natively handles all that heavy lifting entirely in the background.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how CrewAI breaks this automated memory down into 4 distinct types to function like a collective brain. You've got short-term memory, which uses vector stores like ChromaDB for that immediate back-and-forth context. Then there's long-term memory, utilizing SQLite to save key takeaways, which, by the way, brilliantly preserves context while saving you from massive token costs during long sessions. Entity memory maps out the specific people, places, and concepts your agents interact with. And finally, contextual memory merges the whole shebang together. So when your agents tackle a multi-step project, they maintain the big-picture strategy without losing the thread.
Section 3, remembering the user. Okay, so we've given our agents a general brain, but this is where we make our digital workforce remember the specific people they are interacting with. This is how you get that true concierge-level experience. Beyond the built-in memory we just talked about, CrewAI lets you effortlessly plug in third-party services, like the Memo API. By plugging this in, your agents gain an advanced user memory, meaning they can recall a user's specific context, their history, and their preferences across entirely disconnected sessions. Honestly, it's exactly like walking into your favorite local coffee shop and the barista already knowing exactly what you're going to order before you even say a word. In practice, this user memory operates by seamlessly mapping a unique user ID to saved preferences. The AI knows exactly who it's talking to the second they authenticate. For example, if John starts a session, the AI immediately recalls he prefers beach vacations for his travel planning. If Custom logs in, it instantly shifts context to generative AI project support. The real beauty here is efficiency. The user doesn't need to redundantly type out their background information into the prompt every single time they start a new task. The digital workforce just already knows them.
Section 4, equipping AI with tools. Knowing things is great, but it isn't enough to actually run a company. Just like human employees need laptops and software access, our AI agents need digital tools to interact with the real world and get things done.
Thankfully, frameworks like CrewAI and LangChain offer this massive library of powerful pre-built tools right out of the box. You can equip an agent with a web search tool to pull the latest market trends, or a directory read tool to scan local files. One particularly fascinating example from our source is the code interpreter. Get this. An AI teacher agent can use this specific tool to take a student's Python code, run it in a secure sandbox, test it for logic errors, and automatically generate a grade alongside detailed feedback. That is some absolute next-level automation.
But wait, what happens when those pre-built tools just aren't quite enough? That brings us to a really critical question for any business trying to scale their AI. How do we build custom tools for highly specific proprietary needs? Because if you need your AI to query a secure local database or trigger actions in some legacy company software, well, you have to build that bridge yourself.
The good news is, our source material breaks this complex coding tutorial down into 3 incredibly simple steps. Step 1. You choose your method, either using a simple @tool_decorator on a Python function or creating an object-oriented programming class for a more robust setup. Step 2. You strictly define the input schema using Pydantic, basically telling the agent, hey, expect a student's name as a string and a roll number as an integer. And Step 3. You just write your standard Python business logic right inside that function. It is brilliantly straightforward and makes creating these tools so incredibly accessible.
And this brilliantly illustrates how it works in the real world. Take this example of a custom tool built for an educational institute called PEC. By equipping the AI with this custom capability, a student can just type in natural language. Hey, I'm Kasam, my roll number is 100, what is my fee status? The AI seamlessly extracts the needed info, queries the local database, and returns the live status. It can even generate a digital ID card on the fly. The truly fascinating part here is that the AI autonomously decides when to invoke the tool. You just give it the capability and let it go to work.
Which brings us to our final piece, Section 5, Hiring an AI Manager. We've got our specialized agents, a comprehensive memory system, and highly custom tools. Now, they need a boss to oversee the workforce.
To understand why a manager is so absolutely crucial, we have to compare execution workflows. By default, most basic AI operations are sequential, meaning tasks are executed in a strict, rigid order. Agent A does their job, passes it to Agent B, who passes it to Agent C. But real-world companies don't operate like that, do they? They use a hierarchical process. In a hierarchical setup, a manager dynamically looks at the overarching goal and delegates tasks on the fly, based entirely on who has the right skills and tools in that exact moment.
So, the crucial point is this manager agent itself, a specialized large language model whose entire job is to oversee your subagents. Think about it. You no longer have to manually write routing code that dictates, send this task to the researcher, and then pass that exact output to the writer. Nope. You just give the manager the ultimate goal. The manager agent evaluates it, realizes the researcher has the web search tool, assigns them the research, takes their output, verifies it, and then hands it off to the writer to finalize. All autonomously.
This digital manager is seriously capable. It automates all task delegation, which drastically reduces the code you have to write. It constantly evaluates the subagent's outputs to ensure quality, and because it's acting as a supervisor, it actively prevents those dreaded AI hallucination loops where agents just get stuck talking in circles. But wait, it gets better. The source notes that you can enable a feature called a Planner LLM. With Planner equals true, before any work even begins, the system generates a strategic execution plan. It literally strategizes its steps before doing the work, completely removing the orchestration burden from you.
Which brings us to our final thought. As CrewAI takes on all this heavy lifting, handling complex memory systems, seamlessly integrating real-world custom tools, and autonomously managing the workflow with an AI boss, the technical barriers are just rapidly falling away. The orchestration is handled for you. So the question isn't whether you can build an autonomous AI workforce, but rather, what impossible digital company will you build next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this sparks some incredible ideas for you, and we'll see you next time.